Hello. I think we're live on
We
the
are
HR
totally
Huddle
live. I
today.
promise you, we are live.
Happy holidays. If you're like us, you're scrambling to year end. We couldn't be more excited to be where we are, but we also feel like we could use some more time. But happy holidays, everybody. And we hope you're finding some time to enjoy the holidays and create your year end close, support people and serving clients. I'm sure there's some planning that starting to happen for 2023, and then also some deflection. I'll handle that in 2023. We're doing a combination of both. So we thought we would take today and just do some list making, I guess, or identifying what is hot going into 2023 and what should we maybe leave behind in 2022 in the old year as we look at HR and talent and leadership and just start to identify gosh, what should we really be paying attention to, and then there might be some stuff to let go of. Or if you think about our keep stop start, there's some stops that we can just leave in 2022. So we thought we would have our last HR huddle be doing some of that today. So Jen, I don't know if there's a place you want to start, but I think I have one that we've been watching. I know you've been watching it and you posted in social media about it too, is this idea of closing the office for the holidays. And we think that is something to carry forward or contemplate starting. And I know many firms, we've said this before in the HR huddle, have closed at different times of the year. Some firms closed for a week over July 4th, some closed over Thanksgiving. We've been seeing a few signatures in emails of some firms that are closing between the holidays. We've been following and doing that because BDO, who we are alliance members of, and both Jen and I are alumni of, have been doing that for years. And so we're like, if they can do it, we can definitely do it. So I think that is definitely, something that we highly recommend. So everyone in the firm can be off and not emailing each other and not creating a bunch of work and follow up. And so we can identify, that going forward. So I think that's one that we would just sing the praises of. And if you have not done that, if it can't work during the end of the year holiday, find a different week. But even the tax people are finding ways managing client expectations and getting ahead of their year end planning so everybody is set up. So anyway, that's just something that we just think is great for everybody to actually have some time to re-energize all at the same time and then come back to the office. So I think that's one that I would say is hot.
I agree. And I'm going to say another one that's hot. We'll do hot for a little while because
Okay.
they're easy. I think. So one hot for sure has got to be, um, hiring people outside of your geography.
Mm,
Um, never before have we seen anything like the statistics that we got from this year's Anytime Anywhere work survey. I don't know the exact number. It's going to be like 78 or 79%. It's a big number. Um, they hired somebody outside of their office geographies.
mhm.
So it's
Not
78.
somebody moving. We
Oh,
went and
no.
found somebody new and hired them. Right.
That's right. So it was the first time that we'd ever seen the number of or the percentage of firms that said we hired somebody outside of our office geography that we'd never met before. You might call them a stranger. We hired a stranger, off of LinkedIn or off of some other job site, and we hired them at distance, and they're working at our place, and it's going well. And so, we've long heard that people were comfortable training the person at an office. Then that person gets a transfer or something, decides to go to a different city, and we keep them. And there's still a high percentage of firms doing that too. We
Yes.
believe in both
Yep.
strategies, but borderless reach for talent is hot. And so it's hot for solving your problems. It's also creating a whole bunch of new ones.
Mhm.
And there isn't any, isn't any doubt about it. Like pay parity. Oh my goodness, how do we keep up with pay from big city firms reaching into our small demographies. How do we,
Taxes.
yes, how do we manage uh, nexus and taxes, and payroll and employee benefits and rules, and all these multi-state employment issues. Lots of issues. There are lots of issues, and so it isn't easy. But it does open up this whole world of talent outside of your geography,
Mhm.
and it also creates some new opportunities slash issues around. Once we have all these people that live at distance, they can't come into the office. I can't mandate return to office, and for them at least. And then it starts to create an irrational strategy. So I'm going to do a what's not hot.
Okay.
Okay. So what's hot is hiring at distance, hiring strangers we never met at distance. What's not hot is having this kind of kludgy or poorly thought out, 1 foot in and 1 foot out strategy, where we say to the people that live in our local geography, hey, man, get back in the office. We need to see you. We can't collaborate. We're not as productive. We can't be efficient. Get back in here. Oh, people at distance, we're super committed to our remote work strategy, and you can be successful as an employee here. We call that mixed messages. And so that's not hot. And that needs to be left behind in 2022. We need to unify those messages, rationalize them, make them make sense, and make them give people at distance the feeling that they could have a real career for the long run at your place, and give people locally the feeling that you trust them to work where they need to work and to be as productive and as efficient and as collaborative, and figure out how to make that work. So that's what's hot and what's not.
I love it. Well, along those staffing ideas, I think one you and I would agree on that's hot is alternative or dynamic staffing, models, and whether it's outsourcing, offshoring, new roles that we've never created before, like the client service representatives, fractional employees, non CPAs. There's like the list is long, and we have been interacting with people that have said to us, that's temporary, right? We're like, no. So that's what's not hot. That's what needs to get left behind is I don't know if it's a hope or like feeling that this is temporary, but we don't think it's going to go away. Even if there is a recession, which I'm not sure that there's going to be, but even if there's a downturn in the market, your talent is still important. We still have a math shortage, which is why it's not going to go away. We just do not have the number of CPAs, first of all, accounting degrees that are graduating. We have, we're going to have a shortage in number of college graduates. We don't have enough people passing the CPA. And frankly, we don't need CPAs to do all the work that we are getting done. And we can create those new positions. But also we can turn the faucet on and off. The deadline-driven profession that we are in is not going to go away either. So we do have compression, and it helps us manage compression and help with capacity. So we're not squeezing our folks. So we think that's going to continue to be hot well into 2023 and beyond. And we need to let go of any conversations that this is temporary. And by the way, when we say it's temporary, it makes people in our firm not want to manage that and learn how to manage it and train people and bring them up, instead of saying, hey, this is part of our staffing solution. This is how we're going to, serve clients and get work done. And, this is going to be part of our organizational chart, if you will. You'll have more buy-in and ownership. Also, those people that you're bringing on will feel more part of the team and buy-in and ownership because they'll be treated differently. So that's something I think we should, definitely put in the front burner, if you will, or in the hot list for 2023.
Man. And that's offshoring, outsourcing, and administrative
employees, administrative roles. Yep.
Part-time contractors.
Yep.
Yep.
All of it.
Yes. I agree. That's hot as fire. And between that and remote reach for talent, you could be flush with people. Mm. And as Tamera mentioned, dynamic. So you could have a dynamic staffing process for your people, and be able to turn the faucet on and off as needed. So on for super duper peaks and busy season, off for those lower periods, summer for many firms, holidays, so not carrying the overhead necessarily on some of those dynamic staffing solution ideas. So but that leads me to the next what's hot. And man, Tamara, we should have led with this because you and I talked about it this morning. And it's like we're up to here with it right now, and not in a negative way, like so much need, demand.
HR.
People are hiring and investing and expanding and increasing their investment in human resources, talent, leaders, and recruiters, and
Learning and
people.
development.
Yep, learning and development folks, all of those things. And so, we absolutely have to, you know, look at our group and say, man, how could we do all these cool things that are hot or get rid of these things that are not in HR if we don't have people? And some of you are of the size, it used to be like people didn't think about having a dedicated HR person until they were like, I don't know, 60, 70 people or something. Man, I don't know how you're alive. I don't know how you're doing it. We think 30 people or so, 30 or at the, maybe an HR coordinator at a minimum at that point, supporting a good firm administrator or operations manager. But boy, do we have to do something. HR is woefully under-resourced. And most firms that are really getting excited about the what's hots are saying, boy, we'd love to do all that stuff, but we don't have anybody to do it for us. And we're up to our eyeballs in client work.
Right.
And we're saying, hey, bring in some talented HR leadership and management resources, and let's get this stuff done. Let's build it. And so that's super hot. And we are, helping firms screen and qualify candidates for these roles because they often don't know how to do that. And we're excited about the quality and caliber of talent that we're encountering out there. And those people are trading up. They're leaving.
That's what I was just going to say. They're elevating. A lot of firms are elevating their HR also. New positions, but also elevating.
Yes. But also the people are elevating. The people we're talking to, they're elevating. Mm-hmm. They're leaving a place that's, doesn't get them as well and going to some place that does.
Yes.
Your turn.
100%. Well, so along those lines, my concern with hiring HR people is then there's some group of partners and managers that are like, oh, good, I don't need to do the people management anymore because I have an HR that needs to get left behind. So That's not hot. They are going to be the orchestrators and developers and strategists for it. So what's hot is, and we've seen some firms really investing in this, is people development training and how to be a good coach and continuous feedback and experiential learning and like what can all the things our partners, our managers, even some of our supervisors, start getting them into mentoring and coaching our people, but focusing on that people development side of it. So we could, first of all, tether people in. That's one of the things it's going to do. It's going to create that rapport and that relationship. So we tether people in, but also so that people can see what they need to do to progress and they're getting real meaningful feedback on how to improve and what's next. Often our people are hungry for what's next and they're not giving the opportunity. We're not breaking things down and saying, come along. We're not providing affirmative or positive feedback to reinforce the good things they're doing. So then they go do something else and you're like, why are you doing that? Well, I didn't know it was right. So that whole thing about people development and being a good coach and being a good career advisor, I think is hot. And really giving the tools and the resources and the conversations to have, feedback approaches to have, so that our managers and our partners can feel confident doing so.
Yes.
And that's what the HR function is doing.
Yes. And also, like some firms are investing in non-CPAs to go into the departments to support those folks and to also be elbow to elbow in that tethering or shepherding or coaching of the people. So hand in hand, business partners, HR business partners, or whatever you want to call them, directly in the service lines dedicated to career road mapping and learning road mapping and feedback and coaching and stay interviews and all those things to help the CPAs be better at these coaching things. They don't become the coach for 20 people, but they get in there elbow to elbow and help these partners and managers do a better job. I'm going to say, what's not hot is having people manage people or shepherd people or coach people or advise people or be career advisors for people who don't have people abilities. So high technical IQ, low relational IQ. In the olden days, you get to manager, you better be managing some people and advising some people and supporting people. But half the population in most firms aren't really people. And if they are, they're client people. They don't like the people as much. And there's no nice way to say that. I know that was blunt, but it's the truth. They just don't. Mm-hmm. And so it's not cool to make people have those people as their shepherds or their career advisors.
Especially our high potentials.
Most firms are getting wise to that. And they're like, wait a minute. It's not cool to have these people be part of this program. They're no longer going to be part of our people management, people development program. We're going to have people developers, and maybe those people will also be business developers. And we're going to have client developers who could also be business developers. And yes, we can have a little bit in the middle that are a mix, but to just be really truthful about the really good people. And if I start to do that, I let the poor people that aren't very good at it off the hook. But for the people that are, I reward them handsomely. And part of my reward is I reduce how many billable hours I'm looking for or how much client work they're managing.
But I'm not reducing their bonus.
Oh, no. Their earnings potential people developers are special. They're unicorns. They're rare. And frankly, they are a minority of your firm. So the ones that do it, you should treat like unicorns and pay like unicorns and love them dearly for doing it. And then free them up to do it. And they'll do more of it. Today, it is no longer cool to not pay for people development. That's not hot. That's ice cold, frankly. So we have to pay our people developers well and promote them and elevate them. And we have to let the non-people developers off the hook.
Exactly. I think another one that's hot, that'll continue to be hot, is mental health. And we have brought mental health to the forefront in our organizations, and there is a place for it in business. And I think that will continue to be so as we look at the whole person. We like to say, I wrote a blog, a while back, if I'm not winning at work or at home, I'm not going to win at work, right? And that encompasses just like everything else we have to manage, but also part of that is just our mental health and really making sure people are well mentally and physically, and that they feel like they have resources and tools and we're paying attention to it. They're taking time off. They have good healthy practices. We're encouraging those. Yoga during busy season. We've been meditating. We're looking at a new meditation app. We've really loved the Calm app. Just what else can we do? Teaching about mental health. We've been doing some sessions on that have been very, popular and a great way to kind of bring in the conversation so we can normalize it. I think that's something else we have to continue to do is talk about mental health and wellness, suicide prevention, the signs, depression, anxiety, like all of those words need to, we got to let go, leave behind the stigma. That's what we're going to leave behind here is the stigma around it because it still exists. And it doesn't feel, safe or I'm not strong or I'm going to, maybe jeopardize my career or how I'm viewed if I, share any of that. And instead, we want to say that actually is a sign of strength. We all go through different periods in our life, and we all need different resources at different time. And that's just one that should be in our tool belt of, resources that we have. And I think organizations that are paying attention to that really see their people thrive, and it really becomes a safe place, for them to be able to talk about it and get the support, get the help, keep going. It helps us be more productive. By the way, there's a business, win for it, because people can be more productive, and they've got the tools to be able to do that. So I think that's another one is mental health.
I love that, Tamara. And I'm going to close us with our last one. I'm going to choose attached to that what's really hot and attractive from an HR and talent perspective, caring about your people.
Mm.
Like really caring about them as human beings, like loving them and loving their whole self, their unique whole self that is diverse and has many dimensions and dimensions that you should be continuing to know and explore and appreciate. Caring about their whole being, that they are winning at home and winning at work, and being interested in them and making sure they feel cared about, and that there are people at your firm who know their name and know their story and know their hopes and dreams and fears, and that they trust will carry those forward and integrate them into the firm's mix and into the firm's destiny or destination or whatever you want to call that. And it is so huge to work at a place where the leaders care about the people. And from the top down, doesn't leaders at all levels, not just at the top. It's got to be more than just at the top. And we meet some very charismatic, loving, wonderful CEOs of some firms. And then the next layer down is a decent number of grouchy naysaying, not bought in, hope it turns into a employer's market soon partners. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trying to get the whole group to feel the love and to realize how important the people are. And that is so hot. And, we've talked all year long about Josh Bersin and his calling us to be an employer that cares about our people, because that's where people want to work. They're leaving crummy workplaces. They're leaving them all year long. They left crummy workplaces where they don't think their leader cares about them. It doesn't mean that their leader's mean even. It just, they don't seem to care about me much. And they leave and they come to places that Josh Bersin called destination workplaces where they are cared about. And man, that's what's hot in 2023, be a destination workplace where you care about your people and demonstrate it all the time. Not just in like, I remember your name and that you have a Weimaraner or whatever, but also like, we're going to change a policy and I'm going to get plenty of input from various people to make sure that this change doesn't disrupt my talent, the people in my place.
Right.
And I want to always demonstrate that I care about them in all the different ways we run this practice or business. That's like the hottest thing you can do in 2023, I think.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, so on that note, we hope you have a wonderful, joyous holiday season and a safe and happy new year. And we are closing for a couple weeks. We're going to close Wednesday afternoon, and we will be back with you on Monday, January 9th. So we will be with you for the HR Huddle then. And we look forward to seeing you in the new year, and can't wait to see what there is to explore in 2023. So have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.